December 20th, 1968. A young couple sits in their car on a quiet lover's lane in Vallejo, California. They have no idea they're about to become the first confirmed victims of America's most notorious unsolved serial killer case. A killer who would taunt police, terrorize the public, and vanish without a trace, leaving behind only cryptic codes and a chilling legacy that haunts us to this day.
This is the Zodiac speaking.
This is the story of the Zodiac Killer, and why, after more than 50 years, his identity remains one of the greatest mysteries in criminal history.
He's murdered 13 individuals. Of course, our records reflect 5.
Welcome to Crime and Astonishment, where we dive deep into the cases that keep investigators awake at night. Today, we're exploring one of the most infamous unsolved cases in American history. If you're new here, we focus on the mysteries that law enforcement still can't crack. So hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because you won't want to miss what we uncover. Our story begins on December 20th, 1968, on Lake Herman Road, a secluded spot popular with young couples in Benicia, California. 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen were on their first date when someone approached their car around 11 p.m. The killer forced them out of the vehicle. David was shot point blank in the head. Betty Lou tried to run. She made it 28 feet before 5 bullets cut her down. No witnesses, no clear motive, just 2 teenagers dead on a lonely road. 7 months later, July 4th, 1969, the killer struck again, this time at Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo. 22-year-old Darlene Farron and 19-year-old Michael Mageau were sitting in Darlene's car when a vehicle pulled up beside them. The driver got out, approached their car, and opened fire with a 9mm pistol. Darlene died instantly. Michael, incredibly, survived, though he'd been shot in the face, neck, and leg. But here's where this case takes a truly chilling turn. 40 minutes after the shooting, the Vallejo Police Department received a phone call.
I want to report a murder. If you will go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway, you will find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye.
The caller claimed responsibility not just for the Blue Rock Springs attack, but for the Lake Herman Road murders 7 months earlier. The police had a serial killer on their hands, and he was just getting started. 3 weeks after the Blue Rock Springs shooting, 3 Bay Area newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, San Francisco Examiner, and Vallejo Times-Herald, each received identical letters. The writer claimed to be the killer and included details about the crimes that only the perpetrator would know. But that wasn't the most disturbing part. Each letter contained a third of a 408-character cryptogram, a coded message that the killer demanded be published on the front page of each paper. If they didn't comply, he threatened to go on a killing spree, claiming he would cruise around all weekend, killing lone people in the night. The newspapers published the ciphers, and for the first time, the killer signed his correspondence with a symbol that would become synonymous with terror, a circle with a cross through it, the symbol of the Zodiac. The 408-character cipher was cracked within a week by a high school teacher and his wife. The decoded message was chilling. I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all. But the message ended with a threat that still sends chills down investigators' spines. I will not give you my name, because you will try to slow down or stop my collecting of slaves for my afterlife. September 27, 1969, Lake Berryessa. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were enjoying a peaceful picnic when a man approached them. He was wearing a bizarre executioner's hood with the Zodiac symbol emblazoned on the front. He claimed to be an escaped convict who just wanted their car and money. What happened next was even more terrifying. The hooded man tied them up and then systematically stabbed them. Brian survived, but Cecilia died 2 days later from her injuries. Before leaving, the killer wrote on Brian's car door, Vallejo 122068, 7469, September 27, 69, 6:30 by knife. 2 weeks later, October 11, 1969, the Zodiac claimed his most brazen victim yet. 29-year-old cab driver Paul Stein was shot in the head in broad daylight in San Francisco's Presidio Heights neighborhood. Witnesses saw the killer, a white male in his late 20s to early 30s, calmly wipe down the cab and walk away. 3 days later, the San Francisco Chronicle received another letter. This one included a piece of Paul Stein's blood-stained shirt, proof that the Zodiac was responsible. The killer was escalating, becoming bolder, and the letters were becoming more frequent and more threatening. Over the following months, the Zodiac sent letter after letter to newspapers and police. Some contained more ciphers, including the infamous 340-character cipher that wouldn't be solved for over 50 years. Others contained detailed descriptions of the crimes and threats of more violence to come. The Zodiac case became a media sensation and one of the largest investigations in California history. The killer's correspondence with newspapers created a public panic unlike anything the Bay Area had ever seen. Parents kept their children inside. Couples avoided secluded areas. The entire region lived in fear. Police worked around the clock, following thousands of leads. The killer's letters provided clues, handwriting samples, fingerprints, even DNA evidence from the stamps and envelopes. But despite the most advanced forensic techniques available, investigators couldn't identify their subject. The case attracted amateur sleuths and professional profilers alike. The FBI created a psychological profile suggesting the killer was likely a white male, highly intelligent, possibly with military training, and someone who craved attention and control. Over the years, numerous suspects emerged. Arthur Leigh Allen, a convicted child molester who lived in Vallejo, became the prime suspect. He owned the same type of gun used in the attacks, wore the same brand of boots found at Lake Berryessa, and had no solid alibis for the times of the murders. But despite decades of investigation, multiple search warrants, and intense scrutiny, police never found enough evidence to charge Allen. He died in 1992, taking any secrets to his grave. The case went cold for decades, but it never died. In 2020, a team of amateur codebreakers finally cracked the Zodiac's 340-character cipher 51 years after it was sent. The decoded message read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner." That same year, a group called the Case Breakers claimed to have identified the Zodiac as Gary Francis Post, a deceased Air Force veteran. They pointed to scars on Post's forehead that allegedly matched witness descriptions and circumstantial evidence linking him to the crimes. But the FBI and local law enforcement agencies have not confirmed this identification. The case remains officially unsolved, with investigators still following leads and analyzing evidence using modern forensic techniques. The Zodiac Killer's reign of terror lasted less than 2 years, but his impact on American culture and criminal investigation is immeasurable. His case pioneered the use of criminal profiling, advanced forensic analysis, and showed how a killer could manipulate media attention to spread fear. Today, more than 50 years later, the case files remain open. The Zodiac's identity remains a mystery. And somewhere out there, the truth about one of America's most notorious serial killers is still waiting to be discovered. What do you think? Who was the Zodiac Killer? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you want to dive deeper into more unsolved mysteries, check out more of our videos. Don't forget to like this video if it kept you on the edge of your seat. Subscribe for more true crime content, and I'll see you in the next investigation.